From the mind of the man who understands the 4 P's of Waddle's world, Aki's A-List. The top questions and topics floating around in Tyler Aki's mind.
Are these really the questions that I was called here to answer?
Aki's A-List on ESPN Chicago.
That's right. Aki's A-List is brought to you by Circus Sports Illinois. Bet like the pros with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Plenty of things to play on the baseball weekend, some future plays on the Bears, and then we'll have some football action coming soon, 2 weeks away from gambling. Who knows what you could find there.
It's unbelievable.
Download the Circus Sports Illinois app. It is the best. It's the only place I play sports betting the way it should be. Same people who run Circus Sports in Vegas. They run the Circus Sports Illinois app. Derek Stevens has the best sports gambling app out there, Circus Sports Illinois. What do you got, Jack?
So I know Charlie took you guys through some of these Bears fan survey questions from The Athletic. One that caught my eye that I don't believe came up yesterday. The question was, should the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois do what it takes to help the Bears get a new stadium on the lakefront? 64% of voters said no. The city should not help the Bears get a new stadium on the lakefront. Are the Bears just wasting their time looking for a stadium location downtown?
I don't think they're wasting their time, but I do believe there has to be an expiration date for that mission on the lakefront, doesn't it? Where you would have to shift your attention from here to Arlington Heights, where you already own the land. I said this to Peggy. I said it, I may have said it to you. I just hit my head on the thermostat too, so I have no idea what's going on.
Repeat that for the listeners.
I hit my head on the thermostat. I was going to say something a wise
How'd that
ass.
happen?
I was reaching down to get some crackers out of my bag, and I was winding up a wise ass White Sox comment.
This is off the air.
Yes, and as I was rising to say, you know, hey, guys, guess what? It's a Friday night, and the White Sox are back in action. Let's do this. I whacked my head on the corner of that.
Can the cameras pick that up?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Just know that it's metal and it's pointed.
It's over here.
God, it hurt.
Does this Jack, pick this up?
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't.
I thought
Here, let's try
I
this.
thought I'd cut myself. So
It reminded it. Hold on. It reminded me of when we were in Mexico, Meller. When Waddle lifted his head up quickly and there was a fan, one of the to cool things down.
because we were in Mexico and it was tropical weather and I had the sunburn of all sunburns and I was appreciating the fan and I stood up and I cracked my head against it and it was just a
and you
bloody
were
mess.
bleeding and you were bleeding at the table. There was a bloody mess in Mexico.
Yeah.
It was not because of El Chapo. It was because of
you watch your mouth.
Fano.
Yeah, you watch your mouth.
Also reminds me of the time that's at the golf outing, the grip it or sip it, Sylvie, when you hit the golf
true.
cart.
Yeah.
I should talk.
No staples necessary with this head over here.
Right?
So
We corner the market on cracking our heads open.
Couple of bleeders over there.
No, it's true. I said this the other day, though, and like I'm not saying it just to get a rise out of anybody. Look, I think the Bears have been a financially conscientious ownership group, have they not?
Yes.
I do believe that the Bears spend a lot of money in free agency. I don't think that they're cheap any longer. I think they played the game by the correct financial rules. They spend money. But outside of like the salary cap and all that other stuff, they're a pretty modest financial crew. Kevin Warren has put together a really good group of people, a nice office, and some of them are directed at trying to make this project work. He has, I would say, spent some good money trying to get this stadium on the lakefront plan put in place. At what point does management step in and say, hey, look, is this something we should continue to pursue? We're not making any headway politically. It is getting a bit costly now. Maybe we should pivot and start focusing on the piece of land that we actually paid $190 million for.
That we own. And that we knocked down Arlington Park for. What is one of your favorite statements that you use?
Win or lose, drink the booze.
That's one. That's a good one.
If you ain't first, you're last.
We need to print a T-shirt through obvious shirts and make a list of all of your statements. There's another one.
I think I pooped myself.
That's apropos in this one. I use that one a lot because I poop
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah,
Yes.
Meller.
Well done, Meller.
Is the juice worth the squeeze? So I've always said this: with a lack of parking, with really hard, lack of tailgating, with really hard access, still getting in and out of there, with a lake to the east, the railroad tracks to the west, with still the Lakeshore Drive. When you got to do all this stuff, and with the Friends of the Park fighting, and with this downstate fighting it, is the juice worth the squeeze? And you own the land in Arlington Heights.
It's a great
What are you
question.
fighting for?
I don't know. Listen, if it would work and you could build we have said this all along, if you could build this facility out there that gave you great access, it was easy in, easy out, it would give you all of the luxuries that you can have in Arlington Heights. If you could find that piece of property on the lakefront and you could get it done, go do it.
Right. Or if you could just build what you wanted to build in the city with no fight, and you wanted to be downtown, do it, and you had to make some sacrifices with parking, fine. It wouldn't be my first choice, but fine. Now you're fighting to lose all of this stuff too, and now you're again paying all this money, which you may not see this through. I don't understand it.
I don't either. And again, you may, take what I said and somebody may say, well, that's when you compare what they've spent to actually how much money they pull in every year and what the asset is actually worth, it's just a pittance. Well, some people look at this piece of money over here, or this amount of money, and think it's a lot of money, while other people over there will look at the same amount of money and say, that's nothing. I don't know how the family feels about the expenses that are being incurred to try to promote this project on the lakefront.
Well, they're not liquid.
Right. And so I don't know. I'm not sure how this is going to end, but
Neither
at
do
what
I.
point do they just say, time is not on our side, we want to get this done sooner rather than later? It would have been great if we could have done it on the lakefront. There's too many hassles and there's not enough access to funds. We're going to build it in Arlington. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe he'll make headway before the fall legislature.
Maybe they
but
do.
We'll see.
Just to follow up on this, too, they also asked, how confident are you in Kevin Warren? And last year, about 60% of people said on a scale of 1 to 5, they were a 4 or 5 in confidence. That number's dropped to just over 40%. His 1 rating, people who rated him just a 1, went from 1.5% to 12.5%. So his approval rating's gone down and down a little bit as the stadium stuff hasn't worked out.
Well, I'm not going to give him a final approval rating until I see how the whole stadium thing does work out. Like, he was brought here to build a stadium, whether it was on the lakefront or Arlington Heights. If he builds Paradise out in Arlington Heights, he's going to get high marks and a high five from me. If he could build Paradise here on the lakefront, he'd get a high five and a high mark from me. Right now, it's an incomplete, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But in real time, you could see how it is fluctuating. Sure. And I don't look. Again, it's not a good. It's not great optics when you own that land and you're chasing something that may be unattainable. He still believes it's attainable.
Right.
He believes this is part of the process.
Yes.
It's what he's told us. I'm interested in talking to him again.
Yeah.
And seeing how he feels, and if this is true that the latest conversation he had with the governor said, look, we have no interest in.
Or as Carmen and the good kid have said, maybe the governor said, this is what you need to do to get this deal done, and this is how politics work in Chicago. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But at some point, I would think there has to be inside Hallis Hall right now, there has to be a date that ownership and Kevin and his crew, that they have come together and they've said, we have to have a decision made by here, because we want to get into a new building as soon as possible. And as Kevin Warren has told us, the longer you wait, the more expensive it becomes.
Yes, it is. And you're putting in money as we speak right now, too.
Yeah.
All right, Jack, what else?
All right, so after the feelings of today's game, I brought this question up with Cap and Hood a while ago on Shot or No Shot, but I'm going to bring it up again here. I asked, who lasts longer in Chicago at this point? Matt Eberflus or Craig Counsell? Who do you think lasts longer? Keeping in
Craig
mind that
Counsell.
coaching jobs are typically you're going to get fired at some point later. But who do you think lasts longer?
Still going with Craig Counsell. Craig Counsell is paid a lot of money, and he's got the longer contract, so I'll go chalk.
He's young, too. I mean, Eberflus is young, too, but it's not like Counsell's going to retire, or you wouldn't expect him to retire anytime soon because he's up in age.
He's a more proven, again, I'm down on him right now. It doesn't mean he can't turn it around, but he's a more proven
commodity.
He's a proven commodity.
Yeah.
Well, Eberflus has won 10 games in his career, and even though Poles backs him, well, Jed backs Counsell after a half year. So we'll see. We'll see how this year goes.
There's a better track record for Craig Counsell. As much as we are giving him, the business right now, I mean, his resume is much more impressive than Matt Eberflus's.
Yeah.
So
It's almost by default. Craig
Yes.
Counsell's got 3 more years.
Yes.
You can't. It's very hard to envision him not being the head coach or the manager of the Chicago Cubs, at least in 2027. The way the contract he signed almost dictates he'll be around for another 3 years after this year.
But I'll tell you this does keep me up at night. It affects my sports sleep. The thought of having to change coaches at the end of this year, like that change, the potential for that change keeps me up at night, because think about that. Well, that would mean that you are getting another new offensive coordinator. You're rookie. That means you didn't perform the way we had hoped, probably because the offense didn't reach the heights that we expected. Means your young quarterback is going to be exposed to another offense. Like, it keeps me up at night.
That's why I asked the question, because I think there's going to be hesitancy, no matter how bad the Bears do, to change coaches, because you can't put Caleb in that situation.
Very fair.
I think, though, if the opposite happens and they do win 9 or 10 games and Caleb does look pretty good, I think he's getting a contract extension at the end of the year.
Totally agree.
So I think you'll get way more rope for Matt Eberflus if the season goes like a lot of us anticipate. All right, good stuff there, Jack. Jack
Well
McGrath
done,
in
Jack.
for Tyler Aki today. If you want to react, 312-332-3776. I want to play you some sound from Hallis today. What to watch for also coming up. And at 6:30, we've got White Sox and Royals.
You're in the middle of the Waddle